Hi guys, in this video I'm going to talk about the roadmap for college students who are targeting an internship or a job in a high frequency trading firm or a hedge fund. A lot of people have been demanding this video for a while, so I finally decided to make it. I will start by telling about the companies which hire freshers for opportunities available in India and abroad. Then I'll talk about the structure and division of teams in HFTs and hedge funds. I will tell the different roles and responsibilities of each team in the firm so that you can determine what kind of work excites you and try to grab an internship or a job in that particular team. Then I'll discuss about the how you should utilize your time in college, what particular subjects you should focus on, what kind of projects you should do, which will actually make your profile strong and also stand out from other candidates. This will also help you in cracking interviews at these firms. I will also cover all the resources which you can refer for preparation. All these resources have earlier helped me crack interviews at DE Shaw, which is one of the biggest hedge fund, and Tower Research Capital, which is a high frequency trading firm. Also, it does not matter whether you are from a tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3 college. And it even does not matter whether you are a student in India or you are pursuing your degree from a university outside India. All these things will actually apply to everyone. So let's jump into it. So first of all, let's discuss all the HFT or hedge fund firms which hire people in India and abroad. Okay. So I will actually not cover this topic because I have already made a lot of video in past around this. I want to cover new things in this particular video, but let me give you a quick recap. So there is a video made by me, Quant Trader Sal in India, which covers a lot of HFTs which hire people in India. Then there is a video. There are also a lot of companies in Europe and Singapore as well. So I have made videos around them as well. Like one of them is this quant firms hiring SDEs and quant traders and best quant firms in Europe. So all the firms which I have described in these three videos, they hire a lot of freshers from India, and they hire for different locations, as I mentioned, whether for their offices in India or for their offices in Europe, Singapore, and USA as well, and Hong Kong as well. Yeah. So now let's cover some of the new things in this particular video. So one of them is the structure of teams and HFTs at hedge funds. So there are a lot of different teams, or you can say departments, in HFTs and hedge funds. But for college students who are pursuing their engineering degree, there are only two teams which are of particular interest, or two departments which you can say. One of them is the engineering division and the other is the trading division. Now these teams are further divided into sub-teams, and each sub-team has different kind of roles and responsibilities. So let's look into that. So the trading division consists of portfolio managers. The portfolio manager is the person who manages the entire portfolio. He is the investment decision maker, and he is actually responsible for devising and implementing investment strategies to reach the goal of required returns on investment. And also, depending on the size of the capital available with the firm, a portfolio manager might be managing multi-million-dollar or even billion-dollar portfolios. These are the guys who make a lot of money. Some of the portfolio managers can also be the partner of the firm. So they actually take the cut from the profit. Whatever profit a company makes, they take the cut from it. And you could imagine, if these guys paid very heavily. The eventual goal of a lot of traders is to actually become portfolio manager, but it's quite difficult to reach at that particular role. But you could say that these people, they get a lot of money. They are one of the top paid guys in the firm. And then there are traders and strategists. So yeah, one thing is that a fresher obviously cannot become a portfolio manager. It is only after gaining a lot of experience some people end up becoming portfolio managers. But yeah, as I mentioned, the eventual goal or dream of everyone is that only. Now freshers are hired for traders and strategists. Depending on the firm, again, there are different kind of responsibilities of traders and strategists. But one of the main goals is actually to find the alpha. Now, in case you do not understand what an alpha is, so to explain in layman terms or in basic terms, you can think about alpha as the excess return on an investment. So let's say a trader discovers an alpha, and he builds the strategy around that. And during trading, let's say the company invested 1 crore in his strategy, and it ended up giving, let's say, 10x returns. Let's say that strategy actually made 10 crore for that particular firm. So you could actually imagine, the trader or that particular strategist who has devised that particular alpha will get a cut from it. And I mean, the company is actually forced to give that cut, because otherwise it's simple. If the company won't pay that particular trader very well, then he can actually leave the firm and go and work with some other firm. He can deploy that particular strategy for that particular firm, and that firm may agree to pay him a lot more. So that's why, like, traders and strategists are heavily paid who end up discovering good alphas. But yeah, again, discovering alpha is not a very easy task. I mean, if your sole responsibility in the firm is actually to find the alpha and you do not find that, so you could very easily get fired as well. Anyways, as I mentioned, that portfolio managers, highest paid guys, traders and strategists also make a lot of money because they might get cut from the profit. Then trading divisions also have engineering teams, like they have software development engineers who now every engineer might have different responsibility. Like someone might be a low latency developer, someone might be a quantitative developer. Usually the focus or the responsibility of these guys is actually to optimize the existing infrastructure for trading strategies. That is mostly the responsibility of these guys. Again, it may vary from company to company, but these particular roles are also very interesting. And freshers are also hired for these two roles, or you can say for engineering roles in trading teams, and these guys also get a lot of money. Now the other role is SRE, which is also known as site reliability engineers, and in some particular firms they might also be known as Python developers. So their job is actually writing infrastructure for monitoring for monitoring of the systems running in production. So let's say during trading, a particular server or the trade server goes down. So SREs are the actual level 1 support. I mean, they are the guys who will actually look into it, try to see what has happened. If they are able to find the issue, they'll resolve it and bring the trading stack up again. In case they are not able to find it, they might contact the developer. So you can actually imagine these guys as the on-call, but it is not just that the sole responsibility of SRE is being on call, but it is one of their responsibilities. They also do a lot of coding. I mean, most of their systems are built in Python because they are around monitoring of the trading infrastructure. But again, freshers are also hired for these particular roles. So if I were to give you advice, so I mean, an ideal candidate should actually try to get into either a trader or a strategist role, or either into a SDE role, which is a low latency dev or quant dev, or there might be other kind of developers as well in the trading team. Again, portfolio manager, fresher cannot become portfolio manager. And SRE, I would say, is not a lot of development focused role, but again, it is a very interesting role as well. I mean, some people usually have particular interest for becoming a site reliability engineer rather than a software engineer. So, and you can also think of like that, like companies like Google and Facebook also have site reliability engineering roles. So most of the responsibilities which they have, I mean, it is same as in HFTs and hedge funds as well. Now let's talk about engineering divisions. So engineering division usually consists of software development engineers. Now these are the guys who are actually writing softwares for like they are the people who write trade servers. They are the people who implement exchange protocols, because every exchange has a different kind of protocol to do order entry or to get the market data. So these are the guys writing those things. And HFTs, they basically are interested in building very ultra low latency systems. So usually the latency of their order entry systems or trade servers are a few microseconds or nanoseconds. So these are the guys who actually work on those low latency kind of things. They do a lot of optimization. And as I mentioned, for these roles, a very deep knowledge of core computer science subjects is required. And then there are QA people, who are quality assurance team. So these are actually the people who are responsible for testing of the software which SDs and trading teams build. And again, QA does not mean that the QA team will do all the testing manually. They also do a lot of coding, and they basically try to build systems which can automate testing, which can automate the entire functional testing, integration testing, and all those kind of things. Then engineering teams also have SREs, site reliability engineers. I mean, their responsibility is also exactly same which I mentioned for the trading team SREs. Okay, so this is how the structure of the teams look like. Now, as I mentioned, there are various kind of different teams in like these. The division which I showed you right now was based on the roles. Now let me tell you a bit about teams. Like, I'm referring to how the engineering divisions or trading team divisions of Citadel looks like, but which is one of the biggest hedge funds, but this is mostly true for almost all of the hedge funds and HFTs as well, whether it is Millennium Management, DE, or HFTs like Optiver and HRT, Jane Street, Tower Research. So as I mentioned, like teams might be research and modeling teams. The alpha generation team is actually, as I mentioned, is their sole focus is to discover an alpha which can give massive amounts of return on investment. And the people who end up finding alpha, I can tell you, like those guys get paid insanely well. Then there are trading teams, visualization. There are risk management teams who are actually responsible for managing the risk of the portfolios. The people are trading, like these guys build systems to, see what is the exposure of a particular trading team in market, what is the PNL each trading team is making. And then there are systems around to check things like if some trading team might be doing some very wrong trade which will actually bring the whole company down. So these teams build systems to actually do those kind of checks. Then there are core platform and infrastructure team, which I mentioned, which might be responsible for building trade servers and implementing the exchange protocols, doing all the low latency optimization, building all the ultra low latency systems. So this is how mostly the engineering and trading teams look like at HFTs and hedge funds. Now let's talk about how you should utilize your years in college. So if you have entered college right now, so I would say that in the first year, you should particularly focus on data structures and algorithms. Like usually a first year person has a lot of time in hand, because as compared to other year people, like second year and third years do not have that much time in hand because they have to focus on other things as well. But in first year, like data structures and algorithms actually take some time to master, and this is very important. I mean, from interview point perspective, this is really, really important. Then there are a lot of coding contests which happen, and if you end up getting good ranks or good achievements in those coding competitions, you could actually, like ACM, ICPC or other kind of coding contests, so you could actually highlight those things in your resume. And in HFTs and hedge funds, like those achievements make a massive impact. Those kind of achievements will make you stand out from other candidates. So as I mentioned, try to practice a lot of data structures and algorithms in first year. I mean, this is not taught in most of the colleges in first year, but you should try to study them on your own, try to master them, and the sole reason is that in first year you have a lot of time in hand. Then you should also focus on mathematics in the first year, particularly topics like probability, statistics, permutation and combination, trigonometry and calculus. Trigonometry I am saying because a lot of geometry stuff is also done, and calculus is important for machine learning. And if you are targeting HFT and hedge funds, I mean, you can do competitive coding or practice DS algo in any language, but if you are targeting HFTs and hedge funds, practice them in C++, because this is the language every firm uses. They love this language, so practice that. Practice DS algo in C++ because it will also build your knowledge in C++, which is very heavily asked topic in interviews. And why I'm saying that you should practice mathematics in first year, because usually like everyone have practiced a lot of these topics which I've listed in for mathematics in their 11th and 12th. I mean, usually everyone is preparing for JEE Mains and JEE Advanced in 11th and 12th, and these topics are fresh in mind. So if you practice these topics, practice interview questions around these topics in first year, so they won't get stale from your mind. Usually when people suddenly open their maths topics in second or third year, most of these things they end up forgetting, because there is like between 12th and second or third year there is like a 1 year or 2 year gap. And I would say to avoid this mistake, practice them in first year so that they remain fresh in your mind always. Now in second year, you should focus on core computer science subjects, which are operating system, computer architecture, computer network, and object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming focus particularly object-oriented programming in C++. Now most of the colleges teach these subjects in second year. I mean, I know that IITs teach it, and then in my college also they used to teach this, but some colleges might not teach these subjects in second year. I mean, some colleges teach OS in third year and computer architecture in third year as well. So but again, for HFTs interviews, they are very important, because you cannot wait till third year if you're targeting an internship. I mean, internship interviews for HFTs happen at the end of second year or at the beginning of third year only. So you cannot afford to wait for your college to teach these subjects. Teach these subjects to yourself. Then do a lot of competitive coding in second year, because this is going to be heavily asked in HFTs interviews during internship. Do projects in C++ or Python which are very important for your resume. Also learn machine learning if you have time. I mean, if you are targeting a job in a trading team, if you are targeting to become a trader or a strategist, machine learning is important. But again, if in case you do not have time, I would say focus on these particular topics. And in second year, practice solving difficult math problems and practice a lot. I mean, practice solving hard interview problems, previously asked interview questions. I mean, you can refer my videos. I have made some of the videos around maths problems. So these are the things which I would say you to practice in second year. Also in second year, try to give a lot of coding contests, try to give ACM, ICPC, try to increase your rating on code forces, because these things, because you can list down these things in your achievement sections if you end up qualifying these, and it will make a big impact. I mean, because I personally know like there are a lot of people in my company who are like 2 times ACM ICPC world finalist or 1 time ACM ICPC world finalist. So you can imagine, like, if people with those kind of achievements are there in the company, so company has a certain, hiring bar. So again, that's my advice to you. Now in third year, it is time to interview for internships at HFTs and hedge funds. If you end up getting if you end up doing what I mentioned to do in first year and second year, you will very easily get an internship in third year, because in third year people are not usually serious in college, so the competition is less as compared to competition during placements. But again, it's your choice. If you end up getting an internship, great. If you don't end up getting an internship, that's okay. You still have a lot of chances. Now in third year, you should spend your time doing some challenging projects in C++ again, which will improve your design and coding skills. Okay, do projects which actually end up improving your design and coding skills. Do not do project just for the sake of listing down on your resume. Do not copy stuff from internet. Do not do things like you just cloned a repo, someone's repo from GitHub, and listed down that, yeah, I have done this project. Don't do that. I mean, some of the projects ideas are like, you could build a load balancer in C++, or you could implement the entire TCP protocol in C++. You could implement a distributed rate limiter in C++. You could implement these exchange protocols like FIX protocol, which is also known as financial information exchange. It is one of the most commonly used protocols on a lot of stock exchanges, which these HFTs and hedge funds trade. So if you can implement that on your own, so it will actually show that, yeah, you have a lot of knowledge around these things. You could implement the NASDAQ ouch protocol. These are some of the project ideas, but again, you are free to do projects on other topics as well. That's okay. You can also do some machine learning projects. Again, machine learning projects, I don't think that you would be able to do it in C++, but yeah, again, they are good things. If you can't do project in a C++, at least do it in Python, because then after C++, Python is one of the most heavily used language in HFTs. Again, keep doing competitive programming, keep increasing your rating in contest, keep giving coding contests like ACM, ICPC. Now this is the time that you start learning advanced C++ as well, because placement interviews are going to be tough. Usually HFTs are working on C++ versions greater than 17. I mean, if you can learn C++ 20, there have been a lot of improvement in C++ 20 around template metaprogramming and compile time computations in multi-threading library as well. So yeah, it's time to practice those kind of things. Also keep revising your core computer science subjects and mathematics as well, because these will be asked again in placements. You should not do like you studied these subjects in second year and then you completely neglected these subjects, because then you'll end up failing the placement interviews. Again, if you are not able to learn machine learning in second year, try to learn it in third year if you have time. Again, as I mentioned, that ML is important for trading teams. In case you are targeting a job in a core engineering division, they might not ask ML. But again, I'll say if you have time, do learn it. Now fourth year, it is time to interview for placements. If you get the job, great. If you don't get the job, it's okay. You will have a lot of chances, because HFTs hire a lot of people who have like 1 year work experience or 2 year work experience, 3 year work experience. So keep doing those things which I mentioned earlier. Keep learning all your keep revising all your core computer science subjects. Try to do some projects in C++. Keep practicing a lot of interview questions on the topic of mathematics, and keep on doing data structures and algorithms. I mean, you can try again after gaining 1 year of work experience or 2 year of work experience. It's not that if you're not able to crack a placement or internship, you will never get a job at HFT. It is not like that. Even I got a job at DE Shaw after working for around 10.5 months in Expedia. because I kept on practicing all those topics. Anyways, so what are the resources which actually you could refer? So I would say that there, for practicing all the above things which I mentioned, uh, there are a lot of free resources available on internet. You do not need to pay for anything, and there are resources which have been actually created and taught by some of the top people in this industry. So I would say to follow those guys rather than following some coaching institute, or rather than learning from a coaching institute or some bhaiya didi YouTuber. But again, it's your choice, because I would, as I mentioned, like HFTs and hedge funds are filled with top people. I mean, you will see people who are all India rank 1 in IIT. You will see people who are ACM ICPC world finalist for 2 straight times. You will see people who are actually some Olympiad gold medalists. So if you want to work with those kind of best people who are the best in this industry, you should actually learn from the best in the industry. Again, I have actually made a lot of videos around those resources as well. Again, I have discussed some of the resources for practicing mathematics in this particular video, which is Quant Trader Salary in India. I have also discussed some resources to practice in this video, my interview experience at HFTs. You can actually look at those 2 videos. And then there is another video which is this, how to prepare for HFT interviews. Here I have discussed about resources related to core computer science subjects and to practice advanced C++. So thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to like, subscribe and comment, and I'll see you all next time.